Wrestling is entertainment. I seem to forget that a lot when I talk about professional wrestling. Whether I talk about it like I think I know everything, or I talk about it in a way that may seem condescending, or I talk about it in a way that people can relate to and then get upset about. But at the end of the day, wrestling is entertainment. You know, the more and more I watch the WWE Network, which is only $9.99, I have to be honest. I enjoy watching the WWE Network more than I do Raw and SmackDown. But not for the reason you think. You may be, oh, Tubby, you're watching the Attitude Era, back when it was good. Yeah, I went back and watched a lot of those Attitude Era Raws. They sucked. 50% of the show was filler, and then maybe you pop for Stone Cold or The Rock at the end of the show. But it's what you remember and what you can take away from that entertainment. When I was a kid, I wasn't spending all day looking on dirt sheets trying to find out what happened backstage. It was entertainment. It was art. It was something enjoyable to watch. Now, because of my job, because I do this for a living, I do YouTube, I do video games, do I have to talk about that kind of stuff or the kind of stuff that I do? No. But I enjoy discussing it. So when we have these discussions, a lot of the times I see some very, I don't want to say self-loathing comments of that. I'm kind of taking it in and going, yeah, I know, right? But seeing stuff that I talk about come true, or on the flip side, see stuff that I say doesn't come true, and then people kind of bash that or bash WWE for not doing it in the first place. You have to keep in mind that these ideas that people are throwing around on the internet that are getting your hopes up are just that. They're ideas. They're not ideas by somebody that's in the company or somebody that has connections. A lot of the stuff I talk about or stuff I pitch or stuff I discuss probably will never happen, but that's where my entertainment comes in because of the lack of entertainment from Raw and SmackDown. We have a product now that's filled with a lot of filler, and it's not easy in today's day and age. Even YouTube videos now that push 5 to 7 or 10 minutes, I have a hard time not fast forwarding through. Even my own. When I watch fail videos, I used to sit through all day and just watch fail videos. I could if I wanted to. I loved Fail Army. But after a while, I just kind of got sick of it. That doesn't mean I don't love to watch fail videos, but I don't enjoy it the same as I once did. Because when it comes to wrestling and entertainment, what you liked growing up isn't what's always going to stick with you. And for us wrestling fans that are on the internet now, because a huge portion of my demographic, because I do keep track of this, less than 12% are under the age of 18. Out of a whole audience that I have, my male demographic, 13 to 18, and if you're younger than 13, somebody either created your account or you lied about your age, which, hey, I'm glad you're a wrestling fan, but you probably shouldn't be on a site that's terms of service is 13, but that's not the point. When I look at the audience, and I realize more and more that my audience is either my age, 18 to 25, 26 to 34, etc. They're an older demographic. And, you know, I started going back and watching other forms of entertainment that I liked as a kid. And there's some that I remember that is just as great. Cartoons. The voices don't seem the same to me. Or Rugrats, or Rocket Power, or the shows that I grew up loving and watching. Going back now, I still love watching them, but I question why did I like it in the first place on some of these shows. Now, for most of them, I instantly understand why I like them, and at a time, I instantly understand why they're not around anymore. Changes happen in life. And WWE is going through this huge phase of what do they need to do? Because if they go super storyline, people dissect it apart. If WWE laid out a plan that story told and scripted like major TV shows, and they had the whole year planned, and it was the best block of television in wrestling you've ever seen, promos that wasn't filler, commercial breaks that didn't end matches, if it was actual wrestling program like Lucha Underground or something scripted or taped, it would be phenomenal. Or it could be. But in today's day and age, especially when it comes to tape shows and then spoilers and everything that wrecks it, and some people say, well, don't read the spoilers, which you totally can. You can avoid the spoilers, but then you're going out of your way to do it, and then you're almost miserable for it. But even if WWE wrote the best scripts known to man, if it leaked or hint of anything that they were writing got leaked online, there'd either have to be major rewrites, or people would bitch and complain if it actually happens, or if it didn't happen, well, why didn't they do what they said they were going to do? We see it with WrestleMania storylines all the time, except for the big feuds that WWE doesn't want to change. When you look at the Roman Reigns or Triple H or, John Cena possibly looking to face Undertaker, and since he couldn't go, it was Shane McMahon last minute, and WWE trying to make things work. They couldn't foresee John Cena getting injured and being out as many months as he was. Because that's the thing. It's hard to do. Even on Lucha Underground tapings, through a taping that's supposed to get you a year out, they get hurt mid-match. And you either have to go in an ambulance and you're getting taped up, or something happens. Because professional wrestling is entertainment. And you watch the series on the WWE Network, Breaking Ground. The Breaking Ground Reloaded that covered WrestleMania weekend and call-ups and everything. And you see these men and women working together to provide entertainment and live their dream. We may watch a show and think, wow, that either sucked, or, if I put in time into a video that I enjoyed, like The Wilderness, a short documentary I made that didn't really have any purpose. It was kind of thrown together out of footage that I shot for the pilot for Timmy, but it never came about. I enjoyed it, but that's because I was on the inside and I knew the inside stuff. You watch it and you might be confused. You watch something like Breaking Ground, and I almost like that more than watching the actual shows, because you're so deluded with the entertainment that you're watching and what you're witnessing, because last week you read it on Dave Meltzer's website. Now, I'm not knocking Meltzer, because Meltzer's making a living. I make a living. And if I talked about rumors and shit every day that made it be clickbait or something that you would click on, people would watch it. My audience would love to hear my opinion. But I'm very selective about what I talk about, and especially now, staying away from clickbait topics or things that people are just going to watch, say this, and then tune out. I want people to engage. I want people to discuss, and I want people to, be more interactive. And, I look at the current entertainment that WWE is trying to do, and they're trying to do so much of that with fan interaction, and they're trying, and it seems like the stuff that they're doing right is the one thing that the whole company is built on. Wrestling. I enjoy, and it hit me today, that when I enjoy watching a show about wrestling more than I like watching the actual wrestling show, there's a problem in it. Now, do I clamor for Breaking Ground because it's something that I've always wanted to know, the behind the scenes, how the show works? Exactly. Are those moments cherry-picked for WWE to show the best and the brightest? Absolutely. Does it truly give you a picture of what's going on behind the stage with all the politics and everything? No. But from what you do see, and I'm not judging it like, okay, I saw this and the company's great, but seeing guys like Apollo Crews get told they're getting called up, and we look at it as, oh, it's Apollo Crews. He hasn't done anything on the main roster. He doesn't sell, which I'm still going to be on him for stuff like that, because when it's wrestling related. But we criticize him, and then you see how happy this man is, that his hard work. Well, we criticize wrestling sitting in an office. These guys are training 2-a-days. They're at the Performance Center. They're traveling on the road. They're living the life of a professional wrestler, somebody training to be a wrestler. And then we're just watching that little tiny bit of that finished product, that the reason we comment on it is because of a rumor we heard and said it's bad. Now, when the product is bad, I call it like I see it. If a storyline doesn't fit or it's just thrown together, I call it. But when something is really good and often it gets praised, like Sami Zayn versus Nakamura at NXT Dallas TakeOver, you don't truly think of what went into that happening. And seeing something like Breaking Ground just reemphasizes to me that wrestling is entertainment. And while it may not be everybody's cup of tea for entertainment, my tastes and what I liked as a kid compared to what I do now, that says something. Because as good as NXT was last night and as much as I enjoyed it, I was happy that it was only 2 hours because I was so sullen with how long Raw is. That I can't sit straight through Monday Night Raw anymore. I do stuff the whole time. Usually try to let it build up on DVR. So I don't know what it's going to take for WWE to fix that, and I don't necessarily know if they know what it takes to fix it. But what I do know is wrestling is entertainment. And even if I read the dirt sheets, the spoilers, we talk about it or have discussions, at the end of the day, it's just that. It's a form of entertainment that I choose to consume. Something that I am choosing to watch. Nobody is forcing me to watch WWE. Nobody is forcing me to watch Raw and SmackDown and then bitch because it's bad. It's because I have an interest in it, and I'm probably going to do it anyway. So when everybody is constantly complaining about a form of entertainment that they don't have to, when there's a lot of great wrestling television, Lucha Underground, TNA, and many, many other programs, especially if you get by DVDs, like with Calling Spots or PWG, there is professional wrestling out there to satisfy you. WWE is just the most mainstream. So when it comes to wrestling, if you're not digging what WWE is putting out, check out the other options they have. Swerve Season 2 is really good. Breaking Ground was awesome. The Seth Rollins documentary was fantastic because I didn't care about spoilers. I didn't care about dirt sheets. I tuned in, I watched, and it's entertainment. And hopefully, we can just remember that wrestling is just that. It's entertainment. It's something we're choosing to watch. And here's the thing, if the product's just not that good, let's just not watch like we do every other show that gets canceled on NBC.